Hi guys, we just arrived in Philippines, in Davao, and the airport is crazy, insanely different from the previous one. We arrived, we did the immigration part. After the immigration there was just some doors and this is it. And also it's raining, so it's crazy. It's pretty hot, a lot of humidity, and it's raining a lot. I love it. And yeah, that's it. Let's go. E tra l'altro c'è il tipo che ti cambia i soldi che sembra uno spaccino. Anche perché sono tipo le 2:30 di notte, ma va bene.
Let's go.
We saw this at the other airport, so we decided it's a better deal than what we were doing before. So yeah, we have to go there. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's go. Okay, so then we went through another door. Just did another scan again, and this is basically the airport. Crazy. No, volevi qualcosa di culturale?
Eccoci.
Ce l'hai. So yeah, this was actually the airport, and as you can see, it was quite small. On the other hand, even if it was like super early in the morning, something like around 3 in the morning, there were that many people. And just to give you an idea, there were 2 gates just in this area. Probably in total there were something like 4 in the whole airport. So after more or less 1 hour of waiting, we were ready to board. Ready to board on our last flight to the Philippines. Okay guys, you can see that from my appearance that the weather is getting worse and worse. I'm getting more sweat, and yeah, we are right now boarding on the Cebu Pacific next flight from Davao to Cebu. It is the last plane until next month. This last flight was from Davao to Cebu, a quite poor region from the center of the Philippines, where we arrived around 5 in the morning. It was early, everything was more or less closed, and we needed some money, which we realized later on that was not that an easy thing to get. So after collecting our luggage and being so happy because we arrived finally to our final and first destination after 2 days of flight, we went to a 7-Eleven and tried to pick some food. Funny enough, this was our first 7-Eleven of many in the Southeast Asia adventure. Sadly, but as expected, they were not accepting card, especially not euro. So for the following hour, I was waiting for Noah that went in search of a change or an ATM, but nothing was working. After 1 hour, he finally make it, and even though the interests were quite high, we make it. We bought something at the 7-Eleven, and as you can see, we get a taxi to go to the Southern Bus Terminal, where we picked a bus that brings us to our final destination. Okay, no belt. Okay, that's great. The festivity day.
Holiday.
But before all of that, when we went out, we were sweaty, tired, and we didn't have internet. And we were quite desperate. Anyway, trying to find a way to go away from the airport and to get closer to our bus station. We exited the airport and went to sit to the bus stop outside, waiting for a bus and trying to figure it out how to get where we needed to go. And once we put a step out of the airport, several annoying taxi drivers started to push us in their taxis. You would not believe how much they were pushy. And at that point, we just wanted to get a bus for a cheaper price, not a taxi. So we were just sitting at the bus station, and these guys were trying to ask us in any way where we were heading. But we didn't want to, so we were just saying, no, we are not interested, thank you. But they were still trying to get us cars. And to convince us, they were saying that the bus was not stopping by that day because of a special festivity. And to be honest, we didn't want to believe them until we asked one of the hostess from the airport that were sitting also at the bus station if any bus would pass by. She checked and she realized that no buses were available that day actually. And then since we didn't have internet, she also was that nice to check for us the grab prices and to see more or less how much we could expect to pay from one of the taxi. Then we were able to negotiate a price with the taxi that actually was higher than expected based on what they told us, but whatever, it was still a really low price. I think with that we paid something like €4 each, so it was not expensive at all for like half an hour of taxi. Okay, so for 400 we arrived here and we are at the South bus terminal. And here I was actually saying that we made it finally at the southern bus terminal. And apparently there's also the north bus terminal that brings people to the northern part of Cebu region. Anyway, we were heading to the southeast part of Cebu. So when we get onto the bus, lucky enough, it departed in a couple of minutes. We were so happy. You can see here this was their tickets, and actually for the first time, even if not totally, we were arrived. So Noah just fell asleep completely. He was so tired after the 2 days of traveling. I was tired also because I haven't slept in the whole trip except like 5 hours for 2 days. So I was extremely tired, but at the same time I felt like I needed to be alert and awake. The situation was different from what we were used to. We saw so many poor people that were living on the side of the street. We saw people living in these conditions that you can see here, and it was a cultural shock, to be honest. It was the first time that we saw something like that, and probably from the videos it's not that obvious how much the poverty is affecting this country and especially this region. I was shocked and I felt kind of guilty bringing my camera around, so I was trying to hide everything that I owned of value. There were some funny things. I was not expecting, for example, that many cables. I was not expecting such a pollution, such a dirtiness, to be honest, and people living really by the street. Such as small shops, everything ruined, everything devastated somehow by the age. And yeah, of course, not new. We also encountered some works on the street that were actually in the middle of the street, and there was a complete hole in the middle. The bus driver was going so fast. Probably Italian drivers are nothing compared. It was really bumpy. I don't know how I could fall asleep. It was so bumpy. He was going so fast, and I was scared actually because the streets were narrow. People were getting into the streets. Many dogs were getting into the streets, and there were also these works going on in the middle. So there was a hole on my side. After more or less 2 hours, we started to enter the countryside of Cebu, the most authentic and tropical region where there were way less houses and you could see a lot of nature, many palm trees that were stunning, also mountains, and at some point we also were driving by the sea. It was amazing. I'm still feeling really grateful for what we have here in Europe or in the Western countries. Of course, we get used to that and we started to appreciate how amazing it actually was staying in nature and living somehow by poverty. Even though we didn't live in poverty, we lived close to people that were living in poverty. But this is another story and we will tell you about that in the next videos. Look how stunning was this water. I mean, this water was transparent, amazing, blue turquoise. It was something that your eyes could not stop watching. And after 5 hours of traveling by bus, our bus stopped exactly in front of our resort. Okay guys, we just were dropped in front of our resort. Not our resort, but the resort of the people that will host us. And oh my god, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Ci credi? Oh mamma mia.
Well, here we are finally.
Okay, hi guys. We were dropped at the entrance of this resort by the bus. The ride with the bus was crazy. It was so bumpy and jumpy and bumpy and jumpy and bumpy and jumpy, and the view was quite sad. The homes were pretty sad. I mean, people here are not living in luxury at all. They are kind of living in poverty, and yeah, we saw a lot of things that made us think through a life and other stuff. But yeah, I don't want to depress you, so now we can tell you what we are going to do here. We are going to do a workaway experience. It's our first experience in Philippines. It's our first experience at all. We are in Oslo, and now we are just go to get a shower. Questa sarà la nostra casa per il prossimo mese. Qui abbiamo le tende. Ragazzi, adesso vi mostro la vista pazzesca che abbiamo. Wow. Wow, qua. Oh, it's so big. You can see the mountains there. You're gonna see more about the house later on in the next videos. But for now, just enjoy this stunning view of our bathroom. Probably one of my favorite parts of the house. Also, this huge window was stunning. This is the downstairs where the kitchen was, and this is how it looks like from the outside. So after having taken a shower and left all our luggage in the room, we went to the resort to have lunch with our hosts, and this was the view. How stunning is this water? Amazing. And also their private beach. Wow, seems like a dream. Look at this. This was a private beach with some deck chairs, and the umbrella were made of palm trees. Fun fact, on these deck chairs we spent the whole afternoon sleeping because of the jet lag. We woke up in the evening. Anyway, this is the resort with the reception and their stunning swimming pool where they also do scuba diving lessons, and their restaurant.
Siamo nelle Filippine.
No, mi sembra tipo qualche parco in Italia.
Giusto per capire dove siamo. Vediamo com'è che si faceva, che non mi ricordo.
Crazy. So after this lunch with two typical dishes of the Philippines and a lot of talk with our host, we went back to the beach. We sit on the benches and we fall asleep suddenly for hours. In the evening, as you can see, we went to the restaurant again for a classic American Western dinner, a burger with some French fries, but it was really good. We also took two desserts. I took a brownie with some ice cream, of course not Filipino at all, but at least I got a local dessert called mango float, which was something like a condensed milk tiramisu with some mango layers. It was actually really good, and they had a special ingredient. They put some white chocolate inside it, and it makes it even more tasty. After the dinner, we just lay again on some benches in front of the swimming pool at the resort, and after that we went to bed to overcome all our jet lag, which actually we didn't overcome in a night. It took us a couple more days. But for that, subscribe, hit the likes button, and see you in the next video. Bye guys.